Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Roitblat.
All right, well, Sarah gave you half my talk. Mark gave you the other half, so what do you want to talk about? Somebody said something earlier about doing magic tricks, so I think we're going to start by doing a magic trick. Did anybody remember a magic wand? Anybody? Bueller? Okay, well, I guess we'll use mine instead. And I'm going to need your help with this. So I'm going to say a couple phrases. I want you to repeat after me. Abracadabra. Abracadabra. Alakazam. Alakazam. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
I know you did. Did everybody feel it?
Yeah.
You've been transformed. Because Mark talked to you about being in the speaker business. I just transformed you into being in the knowledge transfer business. Speaking is not a job description. It's a skill set. It's just one of the ways you transfer your knowledge, your experience, and your unique perspective to your customers, your clients, your patients, however you refer to the people who give you money. And hopefully refer to them often. So as Mark was talking about, yes, you speak to convey this knowledge to an audience. You can do that through audio products, through video products, some of which we have here, give you the pitch, or over there maybe. You do it through books. Yes, Kelly, we do it through books. Can't have a conversation with her about products without referring to Kelly, right? We do it through the videos. You probably saw these little things with red lights on in the room. I think they're called cameras. There's only 3 of them, sometimes 4. We're doing that purposely for 2 reasons. One, because we're videotaping everything. We're video recording, everything today, so we can create products from it. But it's also, you can see kind of what is involved. This is a pretty involved process. It doesn't have to be. You don't need 3 or 4 people running the cameras. I just saw this product, I think yesterday, called a swivel. It's a battery-operated device. You put your iPhone in it, put your iPhone on, video record, and you wear a little green tag. And as you move about the room, the camera automatically follows you. $200. It's called a swivel, I believe, without E, S-W-I-V-L. It's $200. It sits on a little pod, a couple of batteries. So if you're doing a talk for 20 people, you don't want to spend the money for a full video crew. Nothing personal, Jared. You put the little green tag on, you walk around the room like Mark, going everywhere, and it follows you. And then you go home and you edit it. Of course, you're welcome to hire Jared and his crew to record. No, I'm not available. I'm only doing this today because when I talk about doing something, I want to have the credibility of, yes, I've done it. That's why I've been on a camera all day to say, yes, I've done it. It's hard. I'd rather pay Jared. So once we have these products, we have to do something with them. But I know you guys are all speakers, so instead of me going through why you should make product and such, I'm going to make this talk maybe a little more technical and answer a lot of questions. Instead of telling you what I think you should know, I'd rather just tell you what you want to know, because we can talk about products forever. So where would you like me to start? With creating, with transforming? Somebody shoot out a question and we'll run from there. Okay, let's take 1 or 2 branches. Do you already have a speech that you're presenting, or you don't even have a topic yet? Oh. Okay, so if you have a topic, then my suggestion is have some kind of digital recorder. I happen to use a Tascam, but Olympus makes them, Sony makes them, whomever. And I typically have this on. I don't have it on today because I'm wearing 3 microphones already. But I typically have this on. I drop it in my breast pocket. It's the only reason why I wear suits or sport coats. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't. So the microphone's handy. This will record for 24 hours. Every 2 hours, it creates a new file. I just drop it in my pocket. When I get home, I upload it to my computer. I use a PC for this kind of stuff. I download a free piece of software called Audacity. I believe if you Google it, you can find it. Otherwise, I believe it's soundforge.audacity.com, or maybe it's audacity.soundforge.com. A very blunt pitch for my book. If you happen to buy this book, one of these, this one, it has all these resources listed on it. Or just ask me and I'll email you the link to wherever it is. Audacity is essentially a word processing program that works side to side instead of up and down like Word. You say from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, people didn't laugh enough, so I want to highlight that, increase the volume. From 8 seconds to 22 seconds, I was sneezing, so I'm going to cut that out. You assemble it together just like you would a word processing document, and then you save the file to your computer. This is where it gets a little technical. If you're burning a CD, you export the file in one format. If you're going to use a digital download, you export the file in a different format. It's like saving it as a doc or a docx or a doc or PDF. It really is that simple. We just nerds make it sound way more complicated than it is. So now how do you sell this thing? How do you monetize this knowledge? I'll circle back to that branch. Well, let's do that now, and then we can monetize either way. You all have a handout in a book next to a nice portrait. I wonder who took that nice portrait. So there's 3 circles in the lower left-hand corner of the page. Let's call that corner the 3 Ps. And those 3 Ps are power, which is really what you know, your expertise. The second circle would be a second P, or your passion, what's burning inside of you that has to get out. And the third P would be profit. And where those 3 circles overlap, that's what you want to talk about. Over on the right-hand side, I believe I have a little saying that says, put your blank where your blank is. Would anybody like to fill in those blanks? Absolutely, but the other way around is put your mouth where the money is. You may have a particular topic that you like. You may be burning passionate about something, but if nobody wants to hear it, there's no profit in it. There's no money in it. So you need to find the intersection of those 3. Now, some of us were lucky enough to hang out with Patricia Fripp recently, and she actually refers to these as the 3 E's, and they are expertise, enthusiasm, and economics. If whatever 3 letters you like, make them up. Except for Q, I couldn't figure out 3 Qs, so we'll just skip that for now. Once you take those 3 circles, overlap them, find where the money is, then we apply Sarah's knowledge and expertise. We come up with that title that bestows a benefit on the listeners, that gives you your subject matter. And I think Sarah talked about examples of titles, 7 steps to this, 10 steps to that. You literally write out those steps. If you have 7 steps, what are those 7 steps? Now, what I like to do for beginning product is, let's say we have those 7 steps. We turn those 7 steps into 7 questions. We find one of our speaker buddies and say, ask me these questions and I'll record the answers. Or if you're both making products, you come up with your 7 questions, they come up with their 7 questions, and you record the conversation. What you're having is a conversation. You and Baba Wawa are sitting down and talking about what really gets you passionate. What's the solution to the world that you have to offer? And then you probably add a little intro, preferred by somebody else, like hire Brian King, for example, with that great voice to say, and now coming up is Lauren Young talking about. And then you go online, and there's all these places where you can get free music. You download it, it doesn't cost you anything. There's no copyright. You download some intro music, a little jingle. Then you put in what's known as a stinger, a little audio exclamation point between the answers to the questions, and maybe a little wrap-up music, and probably a little pitch at the end. If you want to find out more, go to my website. And there's your product. It probably takes you 2 hours to record it, another hour to edit it, and you have a finished product that you can now monetize. We'll go on to the next step. So what can you do with it? You can sell it on iTunes. You can sell it on Amazon. You can burn it on a CD and hand it out. Jared, what'd you do? Oh, here we go. You can put it on a USB drive and sell it that way. If you sell it through iTunes or Amazon, the price you charge will be limited by Amazon or iTunes. They don't really care what you think it's worth. They're going to price it at probably $10, $9, somewhere in there. They decide. It's strictly up to them. So what typically happens is your intro product you would sell through Amazon and iTunes, not your expensive product. Or you can put it on your own website and have a digital download, or you can use one of these download services or ClickBank We can get into the minutia of that. And if you want to know more, it's in the book somewhere. It's in one of these books. Or just ask me and I'm happy to tell you. If you have a video, you can burn it to a physical DVD, like this one, and have it available on Amazon, for example. DVDs don't really do well with iTunes Bookstore, so typically if you're going to have a physical product like a DVD, it's going to be sold through Amazon or your own website. Or there's a place that actually prints these called Kunaki. We're going to get into that in a minute, and you can use them to sell it. Or you can use any of the streaming video services or a digital download service and take the money from people when they come to your website. You send them a special link. They go to the download service, and you can stream the video. For example, I don't know where the order form is, but all of you that are going to order our DVDs that we're producing, you'll get a link to a digital download site. You'll click on the link, and you can download the video to your desktop, to your computer, and play it to your heart's content. And no, you can't give it away to your neighbors. That would be copyright infringement. And you wouldn't do that anyway, would you? So I guess if anybody wants a digital, a DVD of today's sessions, we'll figure out how to upsell you to that. But the whole point was to make it easy for you and click on a link and download it. So not only do we talk about it, but we actually live this way. So let's talk about a few other things, like I hate my own voice. I've worked as a professional actor for 30 more years than I want to admit. I get paid to be an actor, or I used to anyway when I was acting, and I never liked the sound of my voice. I listen to my own recordings on my own recorder stuff. I hate my own voice. But you know what? There's nobody here with a mixer to change it. So if I'm not going to change my voice if I'm giving a live presentation, why would I want to change it when it's on the disc? Your voice does not sound in your ear like it does to everybody else's. It's human nature, it's physiology. There's some fancy term excuse. Wayne, what's the fancy term you keep making up? You make up all these other terms, make up another one.
Pseudo-audio reality.
All right, there we go. SAR.
And I can do that anytime I want.
Thank you. Double his tip, will you? There's some physiology behind it. Nobody likes their own voice. The only advice I can give you is get over it. It's really the nature of the beast. If you're a professional speaker, you're standing in front of an audience, that's the voice they hear, don't worry about it. And if you really, really don't like the sound of your own voice, you can hire voice talent to record your stuff for you. But why? Then when somebody buys your product and they want to hire you to speak, they're going to hire the person whose voice is on the recording and not you. So you get over it, you maybe fine-tune a little bit. And the other issue is if you use ums and ahs and filler words and tongue stumbles, often you're motivated to go into Audacity and start taking out the ums and the ahs. But it's the way you talk. It's you, it's your personality. Maybe if you do a few too many ums, you want to take them out. But other than that, leave them in. It makes you sound real. If you take out too many of the real things, the bird chirping in the background and the camera beeping and the ums and the ahs, your audio sounds so sterile. And people stop listening to what you're saying, and they know something's wrong. You may be saying the best thing in the world, the cure to everything that ills you, but if it sounds too sterile, I wouldn't take that beep out. But don't do it again. Wait a minute, Mark, $10, $10. $10. So leave all that stuff in, make yourself sound real, and people will like you more. They may not know why they like you or don't like you, whether they find your voice interesting or not, but they'll know that there's something warm and natural about it. So one of my phrase that pays is passion over polish. Let the passion of your voice come through and worry about that way more than whether you're a polished professional. You know, everybody's talked about Tony Robbins because he generates so much money. Have you ever heard him finish a sentence? If it's good enough for Tony Robbins, it should be good enough for... One of my favorite authors is Malcolm Gladwell. You may have read his books Blink or What the Dog Saw. Another guy cannot finish a sentence. So he's a brilliant guy, but he's really hard to listen to as a speaker because he's off in 12 different directions. So if you can actually be coherent and say words with periods and question marks at the end, you're a step above Malcolm Gladwell. So the heck with that guy. Just go for it. And you can just get an afro wig and pretend you're from New York and have a bad attitude. And there you go. You're all set. So what else would you like to talk about? We can go on the nerdy stuff forever, please.
I have a question about creating like visualization exercises. Do you have any suggestions for equipment or some software to download to create those? Because I have somebody that can do the voiceover for me, but honestly, I'd rather do it myself. But what do I use to create something?
I'm not sure that I understand the question. Do you record the audio when you do the visualization?
Yeah. So that
Okay.
I'm doing the speaking, but I want to add in music background.
Great. There's a number of things. If you're sitting in front of your computer when you do it, Audacity also has a record function. For $20 or $25, you buy a USB headset that has the earmuffs and a microphone. You plug it into your computer, and you start Audacity, and you say, click the record button, and right where the record bar is, just like if you were editing, a word processor starts recording. If you're going to do an interview with somebody, you could take your digital recorder and have a couple of external microphones, one for each person, and record it that way. If you're going to be recording somebody over the telephone, like you're going to do an interview, there's a free conference call service called Free Conference Call HD, amazingly. Free conference call. I guess they tell you what you do. It's free. You just call into the service. Whoever the moderator hits a button, starts recording. When the conference is done, you hit another button, and it downloads the audio file to your computer. Again, you use Audacity to edit it. So it all depends on the situation. In this room, if we weren't running cameras and recording that way, I would have recorders in my pocket, probably a number of them, and have one or two around the room to hear you guys laugh when I tell a joke. These two guys walk into a bar. The duck says, never mind. Erase, erase, erase. Kelly.
If I'm speaking and I'm mic'd for the room and I don't wear a suit coat to have a recorder in the pocket, if it's just up there on the table by me, does that recording come through good enough?
That can work if you're not like Mark and I and wandering around the room. If you're standing here and you are talking, then having a nice microphone in front of you works great. If you have a microphone that would record you as you move around, it would also pick up a lot of the room sounds and the glass clinking. It may not give you as good a quality as you would like to have, but it certainly is doable. Or you hire Jared with a shotgun microphone to just follow you around. We have these big recorders, but really the microphone's this tiny little thing. So I've never done it because I usually don't wear pantyhose on Saturdays, but I heard Patricia Fripp say that there are times where she wears a dress and she just tucks the recorder in the back of her pantyhose. She's not wearing a belt or anything. I've never had the opportunity to try it. I will have to take her word for it. Be creative. Use that left brain and be creative. Or have multiple recorders, one on each side of the room. Pat. Pardon?
Right.
I don't know her that well. I don't know her that well. The word commando came up somewhere, but I'm not sure what. Mark? Lauren?
In your opinion, which multimedia product sells the best?
Yes. It depends on the content. I believe someone in the room, hello Sarah, will tell you that a nice series of audio recordings sell for really nice return. And other people will tell you you've got to have all these fancy videos and all these things just to generate a few dollars. It's really all about the results that you generate for your clients, customers, patients, however you refer to them. So on the top of your worksheet, as a matter of fact, the first line says that you're creating something, but you get paid for something. The first box is you're creating products, but really, you get paid for results. And the second line, more importantly, is your customers are buying your customers are not buying products, they're really paying for results. That's all they care about. So if the results they want can't be accomplished and obtained by an audio product, then they're willing to pay big dollars for it. If it takes some video product to make it happen, to get the results they're looking for, that's what they're willing to pay more for. Who has another interesting question? Because I'm a nerd. Scott.
You're a speaker.
Thank
As
you.
your speaking career progresses, what would be the logical progression of your products? You gotta have a book, and then what would be your, how would you move farther and farther up the line? What would you recommend?
Let's talk about a product roadmap. I think the best way to put it is, the closer someone gets to you, the more they should be paying. So if you have an audio available, maybe it's $10. An hour-long audio, maybe it's $10. But if you have an audio home study course, it's 6 CDs, it's 6 hours long, maybe that's $2.95. If you have a weekend boot camp, maybe it's $4.95. But if they want to spend an hour with you picking your brain and getting your knowledge, well, that's the $10,000 price. So some kind of roadmap, depending on the expertise and the information that you convey to people, somewhat sets what it is that your roadmap. A lot depends on the knowledge. If it requires video, visuals, then it's probably a series of DVDs instead of a series of audio products. Or maybe if your audience is best delivered by reading books, then maybe it's a pamphlet, a white paper they download, then it's a book, then it's a workbook with all the instructions that they fill out, and then it's the binders of information and the whole blueprint process of how to do X, Y, and Z. But yes, some roadmap that takes you from really far away, here's why, a little bit of how, first step, move them up to here's really how, here's really, really how, more money, and then, oh, you want to ask me anything unlimited? Like you guys are doing at the moment, big bucks. So everybody take out your checkbook. Thank you very much. Did I answer that, or do you need more?
Yes, no, it was good. Thank you.
Next question, please. Please.
What about the idea that, sort of like what's going on here, what if your product is, among other things, a session, I'm a financial planner, okay, so let's say it's a session with me, or maybe I offer some kind of a printed product, a financial plan, a retirement strategy, whatever, and if you sign up today, I will give a discount on that, printed product with the consultation, or, throw something else in.
Yes.
Is that a good idea, a bad idea? To meet your value, is that a decent product?
Well, that's a selling strategy, and if that's the roadmap that you want your clients to take, it's a valid strategy. Whether it's the right or wrong one for your particular instance, we'd have to get deeper into it. How do you deliver value? If that's what you need to do, can I talk about your CD?
Sure.
Okay. On Scott's CD and on one of mine, I decided that I really want to pile on the value. So I believe on Scott's CD you included Think and Grow Rich?
Yep.
Okay. So Scott was able to get, this is a trick question, Scott was able to get the permission to give away Think and Grow Rich. And I'll tell you how he did that in a minute. On my CD, it's a PDF book, I got permission to give away 6 other books along with mine because I wanted to really drive the value. It certainly looked really good. How did Scott get permission to give away Think and Grow Rich? Can I give away your secret? Sure. Napoleon Hill forgot to renew his copyright. The book's out of copyright. Anybody who wants it can have it. The 6 books that I have on my CD, because the guy who wrote, or the guys, because there's 6 of them, 3 different guys, who wrote the book said, hey, you want to give it away? Just make sure my name's on the book and you can give it away to anybody you want. I want the same speakers that you're targeting with your book. So they said, yep, it's under copyright, but please just give it away. The big movie, The Secret, was based on a book written in 1921, I think it was. You want it, download it, it's yours. No cost. You can give it away, you can rewrite it, you can put your name on it and claim it's yours. You may get caught, but you're welcome to. If that's what it takes to raise the value, or at least the perceived value of your product, go ahead and do it. Maybe you have a DVD, and with your DVD you also have a companion CD that has 12 PDFs of the 12 best books ever written before 1925 when the copyrights expire. Whatever works. Nobody has to know that. Acres of Diamonds, the big book about there's diamonds in your backyard. Written in, well, the last version was written in 1915. It's out of copyright. Anybody who wants it can have it. You can do whatever you want with it. Put your own name on it, give it away, make it into a movie. You're just giving value. No one has to know where they come from. There's a lot of artwork, all out of copyright. There's 5 or 6 listed in my book, or send me an email and I'll tell you them because I can't remember off the top of my head. You go to these websites and download whatever picture you want that's on the website and use it for your cover art. One of these here has cover art that came from a free download site because there's no longer copyright on that image. Or Wikipedia that everybody goes to find out what's going on in the world, and instead of your old Britannica 87-volume book, they have a huge collection of free photographs and images. No copyright. Download whatever you want and use it in your product. Use it for cover art in your book. Use it on the cover of your discs. Whatever you want. You're just enhancing the value. Boy, doesn't that look really cool? But it doesn't cost anything. So let's talk about physically making a product. So this is a DVD and these are CDs. There's a company that, again, Scott told me about, so thanks for sitting here and being my resource, called Kunaki, Kunaki. It is a completely automated system. You made your hour-long audio recording. Now you want to sell it as a physical product. You burn it to a CD, put your CD in the drive of your computer. You log on to Kunaki and say, this is my name, this is the title, this is what I want to sell it for. Here's the cover art. You hit a few buttons and it uploads to Kunaki. They burn it onto a CD. You can have a nice cover. I can rip one of these open real fast. Obviously, I'm not pre-planned this. It's, you can print it as cover, you can print it inside, you can print it on the disc face, and they drop it in the mail and send it to you, and this costs you all of $1.75. If you buy 5 or less, they're only $1. I don't get their business model, but I don't have stock in the company. It's not my problem. Kunaki, Kunaki.com. Now there's also National Disc and Disc.com, I think. They do similar but a little different. Thanks to Scott, I found that Kunaki is the best alternative. So when I sell my books as a physical product, I just upload the disc face and all the artwork and the contents to Kunaki, and it shows up on my doorstep in a cardboard box. Amazingly, the right size. So the cost of actually selling the media is negligible. What you're selling are the contents. You're selling the results. So yes, when I tell you later that this book is going to cost you $10, don't say, but it only costs you $1.75. Well, it only cost to make the disc $1.75. It took blood, sweat, and what's that other thing? Oh yeah, tears. Thank you, Sarah, making me cry again, to make the product. Or there's a company, I can't remember the name. There's too many websites, and Mark took off with a USB drive that was here. They will actually print your logo on a USB drive and put your product on the USB drive. So if you want to be really high-tech and sell a physical product as a USB drive, you can buy those for $2.30 or something and give those away. I keep referring to Fripp. The reason is I met her by some happenstance and just fell in love with her right away, and she invited me to hang out with her for the day at a conference she was doing, and I stood at her table all day selling her product. I normally don't do it myself, but hanging out with her, it was a very educational experience, so I saw all the stuff she did. She had the USB drives. I never thought of doing it. hey, this is really cool, I think I'm going to get those. It's very high tech. Or just make them digital downloads and not worry about the physical side of it. So let's talk about repurposing. So here we have a DVD of a talk I gave surprisingly on making product. This is a regular DVD. You put your DVD player in your computer, it plays. So I can sell this as a DVD. I could extract the audio from this and sell it just as an audio product. So theoretically, all the sessions today, if we wanted to, we could extract the audio from the cameras and not the video and just have audio product available. Maybe digital download, maybe on a CD. It all depends what we wanted to do. If we have, for example, Sarah's 6 CD long, how to quadruple your business in 15 minutes or something, whatever that fabulous thing that she has, if we wanted to, it was probably, she waves her magic wand and suddenly you're twice as smart and half as old and your sales are doubled. We could, she could take those discs and have them transcribed, have Kelly maybe do a few magic curl things on them, and there's a book. So if you go through all the trouble of recording something, you could have someone else transcribe it if you're not a writer, and there's your book. Or if you have a book, you can record your book, and there's 6 audio products. Or if you're like Bob Bly, here's 3 books. These books all look different. They all have different copyrights. They target different audiences with different color schemes, hardcover, softcover. The contents are really all the same. It's the same book. But it was chicken soup for the left-handed soul instead of the right-handed soul. And it sold another 1 million copies, whatever it is. So you can take all these products that you create or one and just repurpose it. Let's say you started with an audio product and you wrote your 7 steps to Nirvana or your 10 steps to whatever it happens to be, or you have 10 minutes left. Good timing there, Wayne. Great timing. So you record those answers to those 10 steps or 10 questions or 7 questions as 1 hour-long product. But now let's do a deep dive on each of those 7 steps. So step 1, instead of 5 minutes as part of the hour-long program, deep dive on that first step. Talk for an hour or more on really get into the meat of that subject. I like to look at it as when you drill for oil, you don't drill down 5 feet. You've got to go pretty deep. So let's really drill deep and really get to the heart of the matter and really get the value out of that particular step. Now go on to the next one. Maybe that becomes your 6 CD product at $4.95 instead of an hour long at $10. Then you transcribe it, that becomes your book, and there's your big business card. Or it becomes a weekly series that for the next 52 weeks I subscribe with an autoresponder, and every week for the next 52 weeks I get a small chapter of what you've just created, and I pay you $20 or $30 a month for the privilege of having you send me an email every week. I like that idea. Now we're going back to my how to sell your business talk. It's recurring revenue models. Sell it once and keep the money coming in forever. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Maybe you write white papers from it, and the white paper is the introductory chapter to the book, or it's the transcription of the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes of the audio product. Get people, as some people like to say, a little pregnant. Get them a little taste. Give them a little freebie to get them hooked and come in. I like to say I will explain to people for free all day long the why. If you want to know the how, take out your checkbook. So give them some part, as Mark was talking about, give them some value, give them your best. But you don't have to give them everything. You give them what they need to know to move to the next step. And amazingly, the next step happens to be the next stop on your product roadmap. And the further and further along they go down that roadmap, it's the closer they get to your boot camp, your coaching session, your cruise liner conference, which I love the idea. Hey, let's go on a cruise ship, and by the way, I'll talk to you for an hour, and we all get to write it off and have fun, and let's go to the slide now. Yeah. So I didn't give you a lot of activities, but what I'd like you to do is figure out with what you know and what you're passionate about and what you believe there's a market for, what your product's going to be. So who doesn't have a product yet? Come on now, who doesn't have a product? Everybody. All you people without products, that's your homework. What's your product going to be? Take 1 minute now and write it down. What's that product going to be? And then, who's going to be brave enough to come up here and tell us what that product's going to be? Sure. Who would like to volunteer? Come on up, Lori. Yeah, come on up. Oh, it's like you're afraid to be in front of a room? Oh, sorry. Come on. You know I like to have talks without actually having to talk. Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing the debut of a new product.
A new product. My new product was born. Well, actually, I did a coaching series, I guess, on the phone, where I had people on the phone, and I've got it recorded. I've had the recordings edited. I've had it transcribed, so I've got all the transcription. I've got all of the worksheets, all of the exercises in a workbook, and that's my product. I just don't know what the next step is.
Getting off your dupa and... Now, is that a great idea?
Yeah.
What do you think? So she repurposed everything. She didn't actually have to write anything new. What's the next step? Is it audio? It's printed, right?
Well, I have it recorded, so it's audio,
Okay.
and then I've had it transcribed, so it's also printed. And
Now 2
it's
products.
sitting there.
Okay. How long is the audio product?
It would be 7 CDs.
Okay. So I believe in my book, and again, if you email me, I'll give you the answer because I don't remember. I believe the company is called National Disc Company. You can upload your disc images to National Disc. They'll duplicate the discs. They'll put labels on the front. You know, they'll make make nicey nice on the front of the labels. They sell a 7 or 8 slot case, and you make nice cover art that wraps around the case. They shrink wrap it, and they get it to you. There's your product.
So what about the workbook?
So it's the 8th disc is the workbook in PDF. So now you've got 8 discs in a nice little case. You can sell it on your own website, or if you don't want your own website yet, because it's a physical product like that, you sign up on advantage.amazon.com for free. You get a $10 UPC code from upccode.com, I believe it is.
Somebody's taking notes, right?
It's in the book, or email me and I'll give you the answers. UPC code on the back. You sign up on Amazon. Amazon says, send me 5 or 10 copies and we'll start selling it. You set a price on it. There you go. You don't have to have your own e-commerce store. You don't have to have your own download. It's done. Ship it off. Your investment's probably $50. And you have a product. You have 2 products. Because now it's transcribed, so you could, again, make it into a book, physical product. CreateSpace.com, Amazon's print-on-demand arm. If you don't want to invest the money in printing 500 copies. And there's your second product. You have a product family. Isn't this cool? I think she deserves a hand. Thank you. And I'll help you. Just call me. We'll go through it.
What was the Amazon?
Called Create Space. No space in Create Space. If it has to do with selling something, it's something.amazon.com. If you want to sell your book digitally, it's kindle.amazon.com. If you want to sell your children, it's... Anyway, you can figure it out. Okay, I guess we have another question, and then we're going to wrap it up because we have more exciting things to do. Please.
Okay. You just mentioned that she did not have to have an e-commerce site on her website.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about that? Because that's one of my drawbacks and one of my blocks that I'm working with, because I've got to redo my website and go, I've got to get that e-commerce page. So if you can explain how we can sell our products without having an e-commerce page, that'd be great.
Because Lori's idea was a physical product, because it was 8 discs, that it has to be physically delivered, so you could just use Amazon or some other places, but Amazon's the place to go. You could use Amazon to deliver the product. If it's a digital download, it's another story. You can sell digital product through Amazon, but it's the only way to sell that would be your own e-commerce site because of the way Amazon prices digital downloads. They price them too low to get real value out of them. One book, one digital download for $10 maybe, but eight CDs worth, Amazon would sell that for $80, and it's worth way more than that.
You have to have some type of, you have to make a payment to Amazon to
Nope. To get an account with Amazon, it's free, and they take a percentage off the top, depending on the product. Anywhere from 30 to 55% is their commission for selling it.
But on that, it's kind of a stopgap when you're developing websites. This is what I did.
The trick is the digital download that requires some kind of hosting. We'll take one quick question, and then I'm running over time. I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to check that one out. No commission to you, but I'll check that one out. So to wrap things up, there's no reason why all of you in this room who are public speakers can't make a product. There's nothing that's holding you back other than your own drive, and that's what Scott works on. He's happy to help you with that. So by the time we have this next boot camp, you all should have products lined up along the walls of whatever your subject is to show that, yes, you can do it too, and there's no charge for the transformation service. You are all knowledge merchants. Sell that knowledge. Thank you very much.